are listening to A Scary State, and this week we got another October spooky special. So, Lauren.
Yes, Kenzie?
Let's get spooky.
Oh. So do you want to explain what we're doing for this one?
Yeah. So we always have our lines of communication open. We keep our line of communication open so that, anyone can message us on Facebook, email us, whatever. If you have a personal story, or we've had stories of locals that are just really interested, or want not more views. What's the word?
Exposure.
Thank you. And stuff like that. And so we happened to get 2 in the last 6 months. And we were going to save them each for their respective states that they're located in. But as we were planning the specials for October, we thought, well, why don't we do those? Because they both kind of have a similar theme of them being sent to us by family members who have been personally affected.
And also, for one of them, we had already done the state in this round before they messaged us. So we wouldn't be getting to that state for another year
or so.
So we were like, we'll just find a way to do it sooner.
So that's kind of what the theme of this spooky special is Facebook cases.
Yeah.
But not that happened on Facebook.
Right.
Ones that were sent to us on Facebook.
Right.
So, yeah. So it's going to be a little bit shorter, too, because we don't have any facts because
there's no way.
I didn't think it was appropriate to give facts about Facebook because
that's
not really the central idea that we're going for here. It's just the overarching,
right,
how we decided on the topic.
Yes.
So I'll just jump into mine. Yes?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So my little disclaimer at the beginning. The case I'm about to share has had a major impact on the family of the victim. Everyone has different opinions about who is at fault. I am not here to decide one way or another who is responsible. I am only sharing the information that I have found / was told about. I also want to give a trigger warning that this story contains topic of physical and sexual abuse. So please decide what is best for you at this time before listening.
Okay.
Ready?
Yeah. Yes.
This week, we're heading to Louisiana, where a brutal murder inside a small apartment office stunned Gretna in the early 90s, which is a small little suburb outside New Orleans.
Oh,
so
have you ever heard of it before?
Nope.
Oh,
but once I realized that, I was like, wow, weird that that connection,
right?
For those of you that don't know, my dad's family is from New Orleans. I only talk about it every other episode.
I know, just a little bit.
A well-loved wife and mother, Janice Lillie, was found stabbed multiple times in broad daylight. But more than 3 decades later, the truth about who killed her still remains tangled in suspicion and family division. So this case was brought to me by Janice's daughter, Denise Marsh. Pause. I want to tell you something funny. So when you had put it into the spreadsheet, I didn't realize that you put the name of the person who sent it to us.
Yeah.
I thought it was the name of the person who it was about.
I literally have Denise Marsh sent in.
Not on the spreadsheet. It just says Facebook.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Oh my God.
I have sent in.
Not sent in by.
Denise Marsh sent in. Yeah, right there. Sent in.
Not there.
Yes, it was.
No, it was
what do you think? I just added it right now.
Yeah, you added it recently.
No, I did not. I added it when I put that in for you.
Anyway.
Months ago.
Because that was not in there.
Yes,
I looked at it, I thought the case was about Denise Marsh until I went onto Facebook and looked at the messages and realized.
Says the person who was confusing prefect with perfects in Harry Potter. I don't want to hear it.
I still think that's a perfectly reasonable. I literally flipped 2 letters. It's not like I added in stuff that wasn't there. It's just flipped. Easy mistake anyone can make.
Okay.
They do.
Who else?
Other people who read. Anyway, that wasn't in there. This was supposed to be a funny story, and you made it not funny anymore.
It was in there.
Anyway, moving on. We'll probably just take that out because it was not as funny as I thought it was going to be. You ruined it.
I had a good laugh. Keep it in.
Styled it. Okay. Over 30 years later, Denise is trying to get answers and justice for her mother. Denise described her mom as, quote, "Mama was a fun-loving woman. She laughed often and was the kind of person that could talk to anyone without hesitation. She loved children and had a special gift in advocating for special needs." So also, love this lady
Mhm.
because so Janice was born in 1950 and was very active in her community and volunteered/substituted at
Oh.
Belle Chase High School. Love me a good substitute.
Mhm.
In addition to her volunteer work, she co-owned and managed apartments with her husband, Norman Lillie. So again, it's like that other weird connection, like teacher, teacher.
Yeah.
Obvious,
Louisiana.
right, exactly.
Why does Norman Lillie sound familiar?
I have no idea.
I don't know either.
Norman Rockwell is the famous Norman.
Thank you.
Um, I'd never. It doesn't
Hmm.
ring a bell to me.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh. No, this isn't probably why, but my grandparents' names are Norman and Lily.
That might be
That
it.
could be it.
Ay, ay, ay. Norman was Janice's second husband. With her first husband, she had had her son and daughter, so Denise and then Denise's older brother. When the kids were about elementary school age, Janice met and married Norman Lillie. Together, they had 3 more children. Denise Marsh, Janice's daughter from her first marriage, shared with me that it was like what it was like living with her stepdad. Quote, "Most women consider him obnoxiously gross,
Oh.
as he is overly sexual, touchy, and flirtatious. He expected to be the ruler of the household and needed to be served."
Uh-oh.
In an interview with the Murder in My Family podcast back in May 2025, Denise shared that she had seen Norman be physically abusive to her mom when she was younger. She also shared that Norman had sexually assaulted her when she was a child, and around 17 years old, Denise decided to move out of her childhood home.
Oh my God.
It was a few years after that that tragedy would strike the Lillie family. So I think she was like 20, 21
Oh my
when it
gosh.
happened. On November 12th, 1991, Janice Lillie arrived early at the high school she volunteered at to collect the names of teachers for Teachers Appreciation Day. I love this woman.
Oh.
I'm like, wow. Just anytime anyone goes out of their way to show, even, I don't know what she was doing. I'm
Mhm.
sure she was making
But it
something,
was
but it
something.
was something. And, it just warms my heart when people do those kinds of things without not necessarily having to be told,
Yeah.
but just out of the kindness of their hearts,
Right.
that it's in the forefront of their mind to appreciate these people.
Mhm.
And I appreciate that.
Oh.
So there you go. I'm probably going to say this last name wrong, and I apologize. Dennis Dennis Roussel was principal back in 1991 and described Janice as, quote, "She was a fighter. She fought for the kids. She didn't fight the kids. She was a fighter. She fought for the kids in the schools, and always the kids were in her mind." Janice was scheduled to be a substitute that day, but was called by her husband and told that she needed to return to the office of the apartments that they owned. Norman wanted her to collect back rent because it was eviction day.
Oh.
Once a month, Janice and Norman would have a dedicated day to evicting tenants after they received their notice.
Oh my gosh.
The office is in a small building that had been modified to include several rooms for boarders. They also had a full bathroom in the office in the back of the building. There's only 2 entrances, one in the front and one in the back. The one in the front was typically unlocked, but the one in the back was usually locked.
Okay.
Janice was supposed to have lunch with a church friend, Brenda. Brenda arrived around noon to pick up Janice, but when Brenda arrived, the front door to the building was locked. Not normal.
Right.
Brenda went to the store across the street to ask if anyone had seen Janice that day, and someone said that Janice had been earlier to buy some cashews. There's also an apartment building that's like adjacent to the office building. So it's like you have the building, and then right next to it, there's like a small apartment building.
Okay.
She checked the laundry room and asked a few tenants if they had seen Janice. When Brenda went back to the office, she discovered that the back door to the office was unlocked.
Okay. Again, unusual.
Right.
Mhm.
So she went inside. To her horror, she discovered Janice had been stabbed, lying behind her desk. She immediately called police.
Oh my gosh.
Yes. So, according to reports, Janice had been stabbed 10 times in her upper body. According to reports, Janice had been stabbed 10 times in the upper body, but in their initial investigation, they were unable to find a murder weapon.
Okay.
Now, others, though, have reported that she was stabbed closer to 21 times, if not more.
Why are there discrepancies?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
I think it depends on which thing you look at.
Okay.
So,
yeah.
Some of the articles said over 10 times.
Oh, okay.
So it could have, like, some said 10, some said over 10.
I gotcha.
And then I'd heard 21, so I'm assuming something in between.
Okay.
Yeah. Police conducted over 180 interviews, and there was still no clear suspect.
Wow.
Norman had a loose alibi, claiming he was helping with a paint job in an apartment when his wife was murdered. Norman said he spoke to Janice around 10:15, and Brenda didn't come by until around noon, leaving her possible time of death between 10:15 and noon.
Right.
Detectives initially set their sights on Norman, believing him to be guilty.
Yeah.
Stabbings are typically viewed as crimes of passion, and nothing was taken from the crime scene.
And also, you always look at the spouse first.
Oh, of course,
Like,
of course.
always.
There had been a large sum of cash for a bank deposit that was in plain view and had been left behind. Nothing in her purse was stolen, and all valuables were accounted for.
Okay.
So, like, good chunk of good chunk of cash, like right there,
Right.
that they easily could have taken.
Mm-hmm.
Did not.
Interesting.
Yes. The community came together to support the Lillie family during this difficult time. Residents of Belle Chase began a collection for various items the family needed. There was an effort to collect clothing for Janice's children for the burial services. A group organized by Nancy Lillie took up a collection to help the family meet their financial obligations. In lieu of flowers, they asked friends to make donations to help with the cost of the burial. Janice's murder was the fourth murder in Gretna in 1991.
Oh my gosh.
John Linehart, who lived down the street from the crime scene, told the press, quote, "I have lived here for 81 years, and it used to be the nicest, quietest neighborhood in Louisiana. It used to be called the Garden District of Gretna. This distresses me so much."
Oh.
In 1992, it was reported that Gretna police called in a psychic for help in the investigation.
Oh, I love when a psychic is called in.
Yeah, but they didn't give us much detail.
Oh.
I know, I was bummed about that
That
one.
is kind of bumming.
No.
Bumming.
What?
I said that is kind of bumming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bumming and a bummer.
Yeah. Yeah.
No arrests had been made, and Gretna Deputy Chief Arthur Lawson told the press at the time, quote, "When you get into a situation like this, when you have no evidence, you look for anything that might help."
Mm-hmm.
He also said, quote, "Whether we'll gain enough information to make an arrest, we don't know." He did mention in the article that they did pay for her to come out there. I think she was coming from California,
Okay.
but she did not ask for money necessarily for her services,
Okay.
so to speak.
Right.
At the time, police did have a suspect in mind, but they would not release that information. For a short period of time, Crime Stoppers offered a reward of up to $1,000 for any information leading to an arrest, which is extra why I find it so weird that there is so little about this.
Yeah.
Like, I predominantly, all the things that I got, the newspaper articles, all that, came from Denise.
Yeah.
I tried to use our newspaper subscriptions.
Mm-hmm.
I typed in every variation I could think of.
That's
And
so odd.
it was I couldn't find it. I typed in it even in Google to see like if like an ABC affiliate or whatever
Right. Or something.
had something online. Nope, nothing. Yeah. Once you go to the second page of the search, it stops being her name.
That's so weird.
So I have a couple of theories of why that might be, which we'll get to later.
Okay.
Sadly, it wouldn't be for another 3 years before any arrests were made in the murder of Janice Lillie.
Wow.
In February 1995, it was reported that police arrested Owena Dede Evans, 38, Carl Lewis, 36, for second-degree murder in the case of Janice Lillie. A third suspect, Matthew Thomas, 48, was going to be booked later because at the time he was serving a 13-year sentence in Avoyas Parish Prison for a sex offense.
Hmm.
I have seen/heard claims that he had sexually assaulted his granddaughter.
Uh-huh.
So some said sex offense, others knew more details. So I'm just sharing all the details that I have.
Right. Everything that we know.
Yes. Over the last several years, Gretna police were slowly putting the puzzle pieces together. So a few background details about our suspects before we continue. Dede Evans had been having an affair with Norman Lillie at the time of Janice's murder.
Okay.
The
And
husband.
who was Dede Evans again?
She's one of the people who had been arrested.
Oh, okay.
So she's having an affair with Norman.
Good. Okay.
Evans, Thomas, and Lewis had all been tenants in the apartments owned by the Lillies, and all of them had been evicted at some point.
Interesting.
Police discovered that after Evans had been evicted, she allegedly began offering people $600 worth of cocaine to kill either Janice or Norman.
Oh.
Lastly, Dede Evans was the niece of Matthew Thomas.
Okay.
Got it all?
Yeah.
Okay. Police believe that Dede may have wanted Janice murdered so that she could marry Norman and get some of his property. So she wanted both, but more so Janice
Right.
than Norman.
To get Norman.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Authorities reported that Norman Lillie continued his relationship with Evans after the death of his wife.
Ooh.
However, according to the newspaper, he supposedly became an informant for police and gave them information that was given to him by Evans
Okay.
to, I guess, help with conviction, stuff like that.
Right. Just to get information.
Right. At the time, police did not believe that Norman had anything to do with his wife's murder and could have possibly been a target for the killers as well.
Okay.
Evans had made several statements about the killing since 1991, allegedly saying that she had witnessed the killing and knew the location of the butcher knife that was used.
Oh, so now we think it's a butcher knife.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, we knew it was something.
Right.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't think a butcher knife would be something that you use to stab. You know what I mean?
I mean, it's big, right?
Yeah, but isn't it like long?
I guess so.
I think it's more like, not like,
It's not like a cleaver.
yeah.
But I feel like if this is your plan, you're just going to grab a big knife.
See, like, you can't stab with that.
I thought that was a cleaver.
This is a butcher knife.
Maybe it's just semantics.
Maybe.
It might just.
Just like, I got a big knife.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I think the idea was it was a big knife.
Okay.
I didn't realize I would not have said that that was a butcher knife.
Yeah.
But I mean, it makes sense now.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Because the butcher's.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. She claimed it was hidden under a trailer wrapped in a towel. In the summer of 1994, Evans led officers to what she said was the murder weapon. None of the suspects ever admitted to any guilt to the murder, though.
So when she leads them to the weapon, is it still under a trailer wrapped in a towel?
I think so. The thing is that I don't think it could ever be confirmed that what she led them to was the official murder weapon.
Right.
But I'm assuming it was in the place that she had mentioned.
Okay.
Eventually, Evans and Thomas were indicted by a grand jury, but the jury did not feel like there was enough evidence to indict Carl Lewis. Denise shared that around this time, when she was told about these possible suspects in her mother's murder, police had lost all of the DNA collected for this case. So as they're telling her,
Convenient.
these are the people that we believe are responsible.
Mhm.
These are the ones we've arrested.
Right.
Oh, by the way.
I don't know how that is a thing that happens all the time. How do you lose evidence?
Yeah, I don't know. I truly... it'd be one thing. It's like, okay, mistakes happen, but I feel like we hear this all the time.
All the time.
That it's been lost and this isn't, and it's not like it's years later,
Right.
like a decade later.
Right.
That you're like, okay, shuffling between places, etc. This is 4 years.
Right. Just a couple.
Right. Like it shouldn't be lost.
No.
So anyway, because of this, they did not think that they had enough to move forward with the trial. Instead, they offered Thomas a plea deal for involuntary manslaughter to run concurrent with his 13-year sentence he was already serving, so he wasn't getting any additional time.
Oh, so they're just like kind of tacking this on. And they're like, you're already in jail for this. We're just going to tack this on.
Yeah, he took the deal and was able to be labeled as a murderer instead of a sex offender.
Oh, I don't like that.
Neither do I. Because of this agreement, Janice Lillie's murder is officially closed. So
that doesn't seem right.
Okay. So before we get into some of the opinions/theories, I also want to add in this little tidbit of information.
Okay.
So when I'm reading the newspapers, when they've announced that they've arrested these people,
right,
all of them are saying, and this is coming from the police themselves, we think Dee Dee Evans is mastermind, responsible, did it herself. She's the main person that they're looking at.
Gotcha.
And I'm assuming the two men are accomplices, helped her, whatever.
Gotcha.
Something along those lines.
Yes.
But then, all of a sudden, they don't have enough to convict. They don't have enough to bring it to trial.
Right.
They had enough to make an arrest.
Right.
Like, that doesn't make sense. And I think it was later that year, or maybe it was the next year, she was arrested for intent to distribute.
Dee Dee Evans?
Yeah.
Okay.
For what drug?
Cocaine.
Mm-hmm. And a judge for, what is he? The 24th Judicial District Parish of Jefferson. So the Jefferson Parish, a judge essentially sent a letter on behalf of Dee Dee to the warden of the prison that she was staying in, advocating for her protection.
Why?
Because quote, of her cooperation with local law enforcement authorities in obtaining a conviction in a murder case. She may be in grave danger as a result of threats communicated to her that certain individuals friendly to the person whom she assisted in convicting might attempt to harm her.
And is the person she's helping convict the one who got the manslaughter
Yes.
charge?
Yes.
Which I think is also interesting where you say they didn't have enough to bring it to trial, yet they had enough to give someone a manslaughter charge.
Well, I guess he took a plea deal.
Yeah, but that's still weird.
Absolutely. It's I look at it as either they incentivized him
Ooh, mm-hmm.
to take it or they pressured him
Right.
to take it. One of those two.
Yeah.
But it's just interesting to me that just a year before, when, you have quotes coming from, the sheriff, that like the police explicitly telling the press that they think that Dee Dee is the main person responsible. We think, they talk about the $600, paying someone $600 worth of cocaine to get it done.
Right.
They mention all of that.
Mm-hmm.
But now she cooperated in getting a murder conviction.
Right.
What?
Right.
When?
Yeah.
Like, what?
Yeah.
Like, there was never any mention of like, oh, because she, turned state's evidence or whatever, that she then got immunity or
Yeah.
some sort of deal or whatever it was. So, I don't know. But yeah, so a judge sent that on her behalf.
That's odd.
Right? Isn't that weird?
Yeah.
It's very weird. And the DNA was lost.
Conveniently.
Right. And like I said, there's not much about this. So a lot of it comes from the family themselves.
Right.
Because what else are you going to find?
Yeah. Exactly.
But yeah, it's just there's all these little pieces that are still kind of floating out there.
Yeah.
That you're like, where do these belong?
Right. Where are these coming from?
Right. And how do they possibly change things? It's like, it's like it is with a lot of cases. You're left with way more questions than answers.
Always.
You don't feel like you don't feel satisfied. You don't feel like you've gotten the answer. You feel like there's something missing.
Yeah.
This Matthew Thomas could totally have been a part of it. Absolutely. But why did they have Carl Lewis in the first place?
Yeah.
Why? What changed with Dee Dee? Because remember, when Norman was helping them, now all of a sudden they're saying, well, we don't think he's a suspect because he's helping them.
Right.
So was that the same with her? I don't know. There's a lot of like, does this mean that? Does this mean this?
Yeah.
What does this mean?
And
What
it's
does
like,
that mean?
just because someone's helping doesn't mean they didn't do it.
Correct.
Like, I mean, John Wayne Gacy.
Right.
He helped with those investigations and
Yes.
it was him.
How many times do we hear about, inserting themselves in the investigation?
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
And like, who knows? If Norman was helping them, he could have easily deterred their direction.
Yes, exactly. That's why people will do it too. Like they'll go in and they'll be like, oh, we don't need to look over that avenue. Like we can go this way. Oh,
Right.
yeah, that is good avenue.
Yeah.
Completely leading you away from their involvement.
Right. Regardless of what means what and why this happened and why that happened, it's a murky case.
Yes. I can definitely see that.
It's also like, why involuntary manslaughter? Like that was
Yes, that's the part that's weird.
like that's, even if they didn't go and had a plan to do it, although why would a butcher knife just be lying in an office?
Right. For all of, I mean, like a letter cutter makes sense to be lying in an office, but like a butcher knife.
Right. There was no kitchenette.
Right.
And all the other, like, no. Anyway, so my mind's going wild with theories. So it just feels like they wanted to close this.
No, that's absolutely what it sounds like.
And then they didn't want themselves to have any loose ends. So they're like, this case is closed. This guy did it.
Yep.
But he accepted a plea deal. So that's why he's getting a lesser sentence.
Right. He's already been charged. He's in prison. Like, we're good.
So now all of these people are out living their lives.
Yeah.
So, but we still got a lot more to go.
I didn't think we would be done soon.
Yeah. Over the years, family members of Janice's had their own opinions of who was responsible for her murder. Janice's daughter, Denise, never believed that Thomas was responsible for her mom's murder. She tried reaching out to him when he was released, but he refused to talk to her.
Oh.
On the anniversary of her mom's death, Denise posted the newspaper article about the case to continue bringing awareness to it. Dee Dee Evans saw the post and messaged Denise saying that she was dragging her name through the dirt and that she had nothing to do with her mother's murder. She told Denise, quote, "Go after your father, the one who did it trying to put me in a bad situation that I had nothing to do with. I passed a lie detector test. Why do you think I'm out here? You need to find her husband. The one that did it is the one that you should be turning fingers at."
Hmm.
I don't know when she took this
And it's also
lie
like
detector test.
lie detector tests too, they're not even admissible in court.
Right.
So that's what I think is so weird about them. Like they use them in cases and it's like, "Oh, you failed." And it's like, "But you can't use it anywhere.
I think
Even if you
it's
passed, you can't use it
I think it's
anywhere."
psychological. Like, if you
Maybe.
tell them, like, "Oh, you didn't pass," then maybe they'll confess something or whatever
Maybe.
because they think they're gonna be caught in a lie.
Mhm.
I don't know. I made that
And
up. Denise has always believed that her stepfather had played a major role in her mother's murder.
I can see why.
Yeah. This murder has paid a large toll on the Lillie family, pulling siblings apart and leaving a once close family in pieces. Denise told me that her mom's living siblings agree with her thinking that Norman is responsible. Others might have agreed, but were not as vocal about their beliefs.
Mhm.
So Denise has two half brothers, Norman's sons.
Okay.
One agreed that Norman was involved, and the other does not really verbally share his opinion one way or another.
Okay.
Her brother, as in like her full
Full brother.
brother, apparently changes his opinions all the time.
Okay.
Denise told the Murder in My Family podcast that is sad for her 6 children who do not get to experience the family that she once had.
Oh.
Denise had been pregnant with her second child when her mother was murdered. Denise still wishes she could call her mom and tell her all the crazy things that the kids were doing and that they were saying.
Oh, that's sad.
Currently, all suspects involved in the case are living their lives freely. Denise said that Norman moved back to Scotland for 10 years. I guess
Oh,
that's where he's from.
okay.
And currently resides in Lafayette, Louisiana, and is 79 years old. So, some context.
Mhm.
During the early 1990s, New Orleans was experiencing a severe crime epidemic, gaining national notoriety for its exponentially high homicide rate. While precise data for Gretna is not readily available through public-facing search results, crime in the New Orleans metropolitan area, which includes Gretna, was extremely high.
Mhm.
So New Orleans was often labeled as the murder capital of America
I
during this
think
period.
we've heard that at some point.
Yeah,
Yep.
particularly in the mid-1990s.
Did your
It
grandparents live there then?
Yeah,
Oh.
never not lived there
Oh, okay.
since my dad was 4.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, sabbatical, but
But yeah.
that was their home base.
Right. Okay.
In 1994, the New Orleans homicide rate peaked to 424 murders.
Wow.
This figure became a grim symbol of the city's rampant violent crime. The extreme violent crime trend stood in sharp contrast to the national trend, where the overall crime rate had already peaked in 1991 and was beginning to decline.
Mhm.
So they were still going up.
Yeah.
So, because Gretna is a suburb within the New Orleans metropolitan area, it was not immune to the region's elevated crime rates. The proximity and interconnectedness of municipalities within the metro area meant that regional crime trends often affected the entire area.
Mhm.
So, like, think about like us in DC,
Oh, yeah.
you know,
Mhm.
more so me than you because I'm closer.
Yeah.
Publicly available FBI uniform crime rates from the 1990s provide broad national and state level data, but not specific early 90s municipal data for smaller cities like Gretna. So we're going kind of more so off of the bigger city,
Yeah.
knowing that because it's so close, it's going to seep,
Yep.
you know?
Mhm. Yeah.
However, these reports show that Louisiana in the South had a higher than average crime statistic. So, the underlying causes of the high crime rates in New Orleans area were complex and included poverty, widespread drug use, and a proliferation of firearms. The mid 90s marked a particularly troubled time for the New Orleans Police Department, which was widely seen as corrupt and ineffective at combating the city's crime issues. Social and economic conditions, combined with a strained law enforcement apparatus, created a volatile environment that enabled the escalation of violent crime.
Mhm.
The murder of Janice Lillie did not happen in a vacuum. In the early 1990s, Gretna and the greater New Orleans area were wrestling with rising crime rates, economic strain, and a police system that often accused of being overextended and under-resourced. Violent crime was not unusual in Louisiana at the time, but what made Janice's case stand out was how brazen it was. Broad daylight in a public office,
Right.
and committed against a woman known for her warmth, volunteer work, and family ties.
Yeah.
Her murder left behind more than just grief. It exposed the fractures in her family and community as suspicion and theories about who could have committed such a brutal act began to circulate. Some pointed to financial pressures, others to marital struggles, and still others to entirely different motives. The lack of stolen valuables added another layer of mystery,
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
suggesting this was deeply personal. Pause. Put a pin in that. On the podcast that interviewed Denise,
Mhm.
I don't know if it was her or the host or whatever, but they were talking about the main players involved and things like that. And one of them made the point that, if Dee Dee did pay her uncle however much $600 worth of cocaine to do it,
Right.
why wouldn't he take all the cash that's lying there?
That's a good point.
Like, if that's how your payment is,
Right.
wouldn't you take, like, you're
More.
just doing a job.
Right.
I would take the money
Yeah.
unless I'm not getting paid to do it and it's my money.
Mm.
Anyway,
Interesting.
more than 3 decades later, the case is remembered less for its answers and more for its questions. Why would someone target Janice? Why did the investigation, even with interviews, arrests, and the alleged discovery of the weapon, never lead to clear closure? Cases like Janice's remind us that true crime isn't just about solving puzzles. It's about the ripple effects on real families where grief, doubt, and division can linger for generations. Her story speaks to a broader truth about unsolved and unresolved cases. They leave communities haunted by uncertainty. Justice remains elusive, and for those left behind, the wound never truly heals. In conclusion, Janice Lillie's murder shocked her family and her community, and decades later, the unanswered questions still loom large. At this point, Denise just wants the truth. She does not believe the story police gave her is exactly what happened. Was it a crime of passion, a conspiracy, or is the truth still buried in those office walls? One thing is certain, Janice deserves justice.
And they had no cameras, I assume?
No. Dang. I don't think so, not in the 90s.
That's true.
So,
Huh.
front door was locked.
When
Which,
it
like,
should have been unlocked.
okay, here's my impression of it.
Okay.
The person, whoever that is,
Mhm.
I'm not saying one way or another, walked in, locked the door
Right.
so that nobody could come in.
Exactly. Because, yeah, if you think about it like an apartment complex main office,
Mhm.
always unlocked.
Right.
Always unlocked.
Right, so tenants can go in there.
In and out, yeah.
Right. So they came in, locked the door.
Yep.
So that no
Had
one
to have known how to lock it.
I don't know if it was a special kind of lock.
I don't
It's
know.
from the inside.
Yeah, but I mean, like, I think of our old apartment complex, like, you needed, like, a very special key to lock. At least it looked like you needed, like, a special key to lock it.
From the inside?
Mhm.
Oh. I don't know.
I don't know.
But
I'm just throwing all things out there.
throwing everything,
Yep.
every possibility. Sure. That
Yep.
could be a possibility too, or it could just be
Or they just locked it.
or they just locked
Yep.
it. But either way, the purpose was so no one can get in.
Exactly.
Did what they needed to do and ran out the back,
Mhm.
which is why the back door was unlocked.
Yes. My thought too.
So, and then I don't know. Where did they go? It was broad daylight.
Yeah.
You couldn't have gone far.
Or you could have.
Stabbing someone that many times, you don't think you're going to be bloody?
No, yeah, you probably would be.
So,
Unless you had a change of clothes hidden somewhere.
so premeditated.
Yep.
But they went with second degree, meaning that they went there. I'm pretty sure, I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure second degree it's not premeditated. First,
No, correct. Yeah.
yeah. So to me, that says that they think they went there or someone went there. They never really clarified who specifically was responsible,
Mhm.
except for the fact that they think Dee Dee was in charge, so to speak.
Right.
So that also leads me back to what was mentioned. I could see maybe if it was Dee Dee not taking the cash,
Mhm.
thinking, oh, well, if I marry Norman, that'll become my
Then it
cash.
would be mine. Yep.
And I'm doing this because I'm mad,
Yeah.
or maybe something along those lines. Because people knew she was mad.
Yeah.
Maybe it was easy to get the other friends involved because they were also evicted.
Right. So
I don't know the timeline of it.
Perfect motive.
Exactly. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's closed,
Yeah.
obviously. And I'm going to put the information. So if anyone does have information
Mhm.
that could change the course of this case, I can't even say investigation because the only person investigating is Denise.
Right.
But could change the outcome or answer a question that desperately needs to be answered. Her phone number will be that she gave me permission to add. Will be included in the show notes. So if you have, and I think there's definitely a Facebook page dedicated to it.
Yeah.
So we'll put that in there as well.
Mhm.
But, it's just so interesting.
Yes, and also the fact that, like, it's a case like these are cases that we've covered normally,
Yeah.
where we are able to find a lot of
Yeah.
information. So the fact that there's a case just like this, which is
It's
similar to all the other ones we cover, and
right.
there's no information.
And I'm wondering, because the crime rate was so high, was it just
Oh,
another
did it
story?
yeah, maybe.
And so it was just like,
Just
"Here,
kinda
we're
got
gonna
lost
mention
in
it."
it,
Yeah.
yeah.
Like, that's kind of what I thought,
Yeah.
because, like, how many stories do we hear about from places nearby?
Mhm.
Like, it hardly ever makes national news,
Yeah,
and this
because
did
there's
not.
so many other
Right, and this
things.
definitely did not make national news.
Yeah, no, it doesn't seem like it did.
And, I don't know necessarily the statistics of Gretna, but I'm pretty sure it's a small town.
Mhm.
And if it's a small town and it's in low poverty,
Mm,
it's not gonna get the same kind of
no,
attention.
it's not.
It might have if it was in New Orleans.
Right, well, I mean, maybe,
Yeah,
because at the same time, if there's so many crimes in New Orleans, other ones are also gonna get swept under the rug,
right.
or just not covered enough.
This story has been featured on other podcasts.
Mhm.
That's pretty much predominantly what you get when you Google it.
Right.
I really think the the podcast where Denise was interviewed is pretty powerful. Listening to it from her perspective.
In mine, I have the same where I listen to it from her, like, from the person who sent it in, from her perspective,
Yeah,
too.
I was definitely able to get a few more pieces of information or an explanation about something
Yeah.
and things like that than just within newspapers and Facebook messages and
Yeah,
things like
absolutely.
that. But you know, I appreciate Denise trusting me with this story.
Mhm.
I hope I did Janice proud
Yeah.
by telling it. And
I mean, I think the most important thing is just getting it out there.
yeah,
You know, because 'cause we're definitely gonna reach a different platform than some of the other podcasts are gonna reach, just
absolutely.
that's how it is.
Yeah.
And
But if you
so
have enough small things,
right,
that ripple effect and eventually becomes big,
right.
you
So,
know?
maybe we reached someone who has information.
Yeah. And people get wrongly convicted all the
Mhm.
time.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there's so many questions.
Yeah.
There's just too much left unresolved for it to feel like, okay, yeah, that person did it.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I mean,
Like,
there's not a single person in the case who I'm like, "Oh, yeah,
right.
definitely them."
Like, there's obviously the ones that it's like, okay, well, you have the most against you that could convince
Yes.
me,
That's a good way to describe it.
but it's still circumstantial.
Yes.
And so there still leaves me with a little bit of doubt that maybe you didn't,
Yes, that's a good way to put it.
you know? Like, I
Yeah.
wouldn't be able to convict if I was on a jury,
No, yeah.
you
No,
know?
not at all. There's definitely just not enough.
And on the outside, when you hear about the affair and things like that, it seems like it's going to be a cut and dry
It
case.
does, yes.
Husband
'Cause 9
convinced,
times out of 10,
right.
that's what it is.
Husband convinced lover to kill wife and promised her this, that, and the other,
Yep.
but it was not that.
No.
It was not cut and dry. It
No.
was apparently very complicated.
Well, yeah.
And it doesn't help if you lose all the DNA,
Right.
which is crazy.
Which is convenient.
That's insane to me.
I know, I don't get that.
Absolutely insane. So yeah,
Wow, well, nice job covering it.
yeah, that is Janice Lillie.
Wow.
She seemed like a very special lady,
She did.
and extra special because she was a substitute teacher, and that is a difficult job. And as a teacher, I worship the ground substitutes walk on because we need them.
Yup.
so, so yeah, like I said, if you know anything, go check out our show notes. There's information on how you can contact Denise. So yeah,
Yeah.
and that's it, I guess. I'm passing the mic to you, kind of
Well,
figuratively.
nice job.
Thanks. What spooky tea you pouring, Lauren?
I realized I didn't say my intro to you either.
Oh yeah, you had some.
I know.
Can you tell me one?
Yeah, I'll tell you afterwards because I have them written on a piece of paper downstairs.
Okay.
And, having to get up and readjust everything
I
after we
know, I
just
know.
adjusted.
I'm aware.
And then I'll read them to you because I thought about that in the middle of your story. I was like, "Dang it." Because we didn't really, like, have our state facts or I had to ask you anything, We were just kinda like,
right.
"Let's jump into it."
This one doesn't count.
Yeah, so next one. I got
Next
you.
one.
I got you.
Yes. And thanks to no one's help,
Right.
we figured out a topic. Like, I put it out on our story. No one said anything, but we picked it all by ourselves.
Yeah.
So screw you guys.
Yeah. All right. So, like Mackenzie kind of mentioned, these cases I say are ones that hit a little closer to home. So I'm part of a few podcast true crime Facebook groups, and occasionally I will come upon a post from someone who has a story they want podcasts to cover to get the word out. So this is one of those cases. So a woman reached out to the group asking if anyone would be willing to cover the case of her daughter's homicide, and of course I reached out to her saying we would be honored, and we would love to help spread the information as much as possible, and hopefully it brings more light to the case. So this is the case of 23-year-old Faithe Ely.
I like the name Faith.
Yeah. Faith was born in June of 1997. Her mother described her
Oh
as
my god, she's younger than us.
I know.
I hate that.
I know. Her mother described her as a beautiful mess.
Aw.
When Faith was a teenager, she did what most teenagers did and got involved with some drugs. She did have to go to rehab, but she was in the process of getting clean.
Good for her.
Faith was also a mother of 2 young children, a 6-year-old daughter and a 3-year-old son at the time.
She was a teenager?
She was 23 when this happened. And so
But
when she was 23, she had 2 kids.
okay, because I was about to say, if she's a teenager and had a fucking 6-year-old, we have bigger problems.
No, no. When she was 23, she had a 6-year-old and a 3-year-old.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes so much more sense. Thank you for
Yes.
clarifying.
You're welcome. She was also very creative and enjoyed doing arts and crafts of any kind with her children. Faith was remembered as being free-spirited, creative, and spunky. Quote, Faith didn't sit still. She had places to go and people to see. She had people's lives to get involved with, said her mother, Amanda. Faith and her mother, Amanda, had gotten together on Sunday, March 28th, 2021, around 3:30 p.m. at Brahms in Seminole. We're in Oklahoma, by the way.
Oh.
9 months prior, almost to the day, Faith's brother Stephen had died in a car accident on June 29th, 2020.
No.
I know.
Oh, this is recent.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes, very recent. So Amanda was giving Faith a memory book of her brother and pendant with his ashes. It had taken Faith a while to finally get around to getting the items from Amanda. Faith had said that she didn't want to risk losing them or having someone steal them, but today she was finally ready to get them.
Mm-hmm.
So the two continued talking. Faith was very optimistic. She had gotten a new job and had already been working there for 2 weeks. She didn't have a car, so she was excited about the prospect of getting one soon so that she could be mobile and wouldn't have to walk everywhere. Amanda could tell that there was something on Faith's mind, but she didn't push because at the moment, Faith was in a good mood and she was very optimistic and had a lot of hope for the future. They finally parted ways around 4:30 p.m.
Do we know where they met? Was it just like a restaurant or?
At Brahms. I don't know what that is.
Okay.
It could be, I have no idea what it is.
Okay.
So this would be the last time that Faith's mother would talk to her. At around 8:30 p.m., Amanda received a frantic phone call from a woman. She had this number saved in her phone because it was a number that belonged to one of Faith's friends that she would occasionally use to talk to her mom.
Why?
I don't know. I guess maybe she didn't have a phone or her phone wasn't working. So, like if my phone would die, I would use your phone to call my mom.
Got it.
So it was like kind of that thing. So she
Okay.
had that number saved as one of Faith's friends.
Got it.
In a frantic voice, the woman told Amanda that Faith was dead.
Mm.
Amanda tried to get any information out of this woman that she could, but the woman was too frantic and unable to get anything out. All that the woman was able to say was that Faith was dead and that she had been run over by a car. The police on the scene were then put on the phone, but also couldn't provide any information. They never confirmed what
Wait a minute. Why is this lady calling the mom and then handing the phone to the police?
Mm-hmm.
It's a good question.
It is.
Got it.
The police on the scene were then put on the phone because Amanda was like, can you put someone else on the phone?
Yeah.
But also couldn't provide any information. They never confirmed what the lady had said about the body being on the highway. They didn't provide a location, nothing.
What?
All they told Amanda was that they couldn't give any information at that point.
Why?
I don't know.
It's her daughter.
Mm-hmm.
You could at least say where she is.
Mm-hmm. I guess they can't confirm it's her daughter.
Well, that I understand.
But yeah.
Mm.
EMTs arrived at the scene shortly after an 8:34 p.m. 911 call from an unidentified individual, and immediately upon arriving, they called it, saying that Faith was dead. Time of death was considered 8:34 p.m., the time of the first 911 call.
Oh. Did they just assume that she was dead when they arrived? Because they didn't arrive at the same time.
They didn't arrive at the same time, but when they got there, she was dead.
Yeah.
So that's their time of death, is what they're, I guess, however they do the time of death, that's what they're saying.
Okay.
The Oklahoma Highway Patrol, OHP, were the first law enforcement officers on scene that night. The accident had occurred on Highway 56 in Seminole County, south of Highway 270 towards Shashakawas?
Yes.
Yeah.
You're frequent there often.
Yes. Near Wowoka, so initially the OHP had jurisdiction. From the beginning, they said that this was not a vehicle-involved crash and that the death was, quote, hinky.
So she wasn't hit by a car?
They don't believe so.
Okay.
With the OHP looking at it, it seemed this was more of a person-on-person case, maybe even manslaughter. At this point, the OHP recommended that the Seminole County Sheriff call the Oklahoma State Bureau of Investigations, OSBI, to get involved and investigate.
Is the state police different than this bureau?
I believe so. So we have OHP, which is the Oklahoma Highway Patrol.
Oh, highway patrol. Okay, so they're not state police.
Correct.
Got it. Okay, never mind. For some reason, I thought they were.
They're technically law enforcement officers,
Right.
but they have jurisdiction over the highways.
Of Oklahoma.
Right, of Oklahoma.
Okay.
And then we have the Seminole County Sheriff, so the sheriff of the county.
Right, where
And
it
then
happened.
yeah, and then we have the Oklahoma State Bureau of Investigations. So each state does have their own
Yeah.
Bureau of Investigations.
Do we think or know if state police forces are, you know how, okay, you have a precinct and you have police officers and you have detectives?
Mhm.
Is it like that?
I have no idea.
Okay. I'm
I
just
didn't look
curious.
over the hierarchy of Oklahoma
No, I
State
know. It's
Bureau.
just not necessarily even Oklahoma. I just mean like any place in general.
I have no idea.
Well, yeah, it's not relevant, so we'll look at it later.
So the OSBI came out to look over the crime scene. The OSBI and Seminole County Sheriff believed that it was a hit and run and that the hit occurred between 8 and 8:30 p.m.
So she did get hit by a car. Oh my God.
Oklahoma Highway Patrol believes it was not a car crash.
But
Oklahoma State Bureau of Investigations believe it was.
interesting.
Amanda,
How can that be a discrepancy?
I'll get to it.
Okay.
Amanda called her other daughter, Caitlin, and told her what the woman had said on the phone, and also told her what the police at the scene had said, which was nothing. She asked for Caitlin and her husband Casey's help in finding out what had happened to Faith and where she was. Caitlin and her husband Casey immediately went to the scene, and that is where Caitlin saw her sister lying on the side of the road.
We are going to get back to the lady who called her, right?
Oh, yes.
Okay, cool.
Yes. It then took the medical examiner hours to finally come claim the body to bring back to ID and examine. The medical examiner didn't show up until 3 a.m. The phone call to
What?
Amanda had happened around 8:30 p.m.
5, what? Yeah. 5 hours?
Yeah. No, more than 5 hours.
More than 5 hours?
It would be 6.5 hours.
6.5 hours.
Yeah.
That was close.
Yeah. The ME wasn't able to perform the autopsy until Faith's body had been properly ID'd, and Faith didn't have an ID on her when she was found.
But her sister showed up.
Mm-hmm.
Does that not count?
No. I will get to it.
What?
They had to wait for a positive ID through fingerprints, which took 2 full days to finally get.
Wait a minute.
The ID could have come much quicker had Faith's sister Caitlin been allowed to ID the body. She wasn't allowed to because OSBI didn't want her to contaminate the crime scene.
What?
Yeah. Mhm.
That's not how this works. That's not how any of this works.
So 2 full days later, when they finally had the fingerprints,
Mhm.
the ME finally performed the autopsy and found the cause of death to be multiple blunt force trauma, probably from a vehicle versus pedestrian accident, so consistent with an individual that was struck by a moving vehicle.
Are we on the side of got hit by a car or not got hit by a car?
Through my story, you will see what side I'm on.
Okay.
So here's where the story gets a bit more confusing.
It is already so confusing.
Unknown to Amanda, or really any of Faith's family, Faith was back with a boyfriend she had been seeing.
Ooh.
And not only were they back together, Faith was staying with this boyfriend, Ryan, and his mother. Faith had told her mom that she was staying with a friend who was helping her recover from her drug use, but she
Mhm.
never mentioned that the friend was Ryan's mom.
So her going sober was like kind of recent.
Yes.
Okay.
Mhm. She had been living in Seminole with the woman to get away from drugs so that she could focus on her sobriety and getting her life back on track.
Do we know if her kids were living with her at the time?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not sure where the kids were.
Okay.
And it wasn't a random person driving along the road that had found Faith's body. It had been Ryan, her boyfriend.
Um,
And the frantic woman who had called Amanda from the crime scene was Ryan's mom, who had met her son at the scene.
So it was Ryan's number that showed up on the phone?
No, it was the mom's number. So
Oh, but mom knew that she was living with this woman.
she didn't until now. Okay,
Yep.
so mom Amanda
Yeah.
knew that Faith was living with a friend.
Okay.
Didn't know that the friend was her boyfriend's mom.
But when this person called, she was like, "Oh, this is the friend that lives with my daughter."
Yes.
Got it.
But she didn't
But
put
she didn't
together.
know who exactly she was.
Right. So she didn't know that this was the boyfriend she was back with, his mom.
Right.
Yeah.
And the boyfriend
Yes.
that were there.
Yes.
And that didn't seem to be
So here are the series of events that night per statements from the suspects. After Faith had met with her mom, she became a bit withdrawn. Amanda knew that by Faith finally receiving the memory book and the pendant, it would put her in a certain type of mood. Faith took grief in a way where she would suppress it until she had to face it, so her mom believes she never really started to heal from her brother's passing. So when Faith got home, Ryan noticed that she was acting a bit off, and he kept asking her what was wrong. Faith kept telling him that she didn't want to talk about it, but he kept hounding her, and she eventually got fed up and annoyed.
It's one thing if she said nothing is wrong when there's clearly something wrong, but if she's saying, I don't want to talk about it,
Right.
She's acknowledging there is something wrong,
but she doesn't want to talk
but
about
she
it.
doesn't want to talk about it.
Yes. So this led to Faith and Ryan having a verbal argument in the living room. Ryan's mom came in to tell them to stop yelling in the house. Faith then threw her beer in her boyfriend's face and walked out of the house, apparently barefoot, by the way. As she was walking away, Ryan's mom comes out of the house and grabs Faith while she is in the driveway. Mom, quote, swings her around so they can talk, but Faith continues to try to walk away. This escalates into a small scuffle of some sort, but eventually Faith is able to get away and she continues to walk mad down the road. At this point, the stories between the boyfriend, the mom, and others get more vague and differing.
Why didn't she put shoes on?
Some say that Faith sat on the tailgate with her boyfriend at that point. Some say she walked off yelling at them.
So some are saying she walked off, some are saying she stayed at the driveway?
Yes.
Okay.
And I think with like the no shoes, I guess like maybe if you're yelling and you're mad, you're not going to take the time to like be like, hold on, and like madly put your shoes on and then leave.
Yeah, no, I get that, but I just like I think about the fact that like I always have a pair of shoes by the door that like are slip-on shoes.
Yeah.
But I guess maybe that's not a thing for everybody.
Well, because like my slip on shoes are by the back door because that's where I take Roy out.
Right.
So I don't have slip on shoes by the front door.
Okay. Yeah, that
Well,
makes sense.
I have my work shoes. But besides the point.
Yeah.
But at some undetermined amount of time later, Ryan believes he heard what sounded like a vehicle hitting a speed bump about half a mile away,
So this happened a half a mile away from his house,
where he's hearing a car hit a speed bump,
but not where she was found?
where she was found.
So yeah, it happened like her accident happened
Half mile from the
a
house.
half mile from his
Mhm.
house.
Yep. And Ryan had seen a truck pulling a trailer just before he heard that noise, so he got concerned, grabbed a flashlight, and headed out to look for
How
Faith.
do you hear a car going over a speed bump
A half a mile away.
a half a mile away?
Keep that in your brain.
Okay.
This is when he
I'm
came
asking
upon.
great questions.
You really are. All questions that I was like, that's suspicious. That is when he came upon Faith's body on the side of the road. Ryan screamed when he saw her. That scream was heard by the owner of the house nearby where Faith's body was found. That homeowner called 911. So with this story, Ryan and his mother were the last people to see Faith alive.
After an argument.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
OSBI maintained that the whole incident was a hit and run, textbook case closed on their end.
What?
But they still needed to find out who did the hit and run. So 3 miles north of where Faith was found was a surveillance camera that was attached to a Dollar General or something like that, I believe. OSBI found that camera, and it took them over a month to clean and release the video.
It's 3 miles away.
Mm-hmm.
How is it going to see anything?
Hoping to see cars.
Okay.
Because the boyfriend saw a truck
so,
pulling
like,
a trailer.
Okay, I
Mhm.
understand.
Yep.
Yes. Okay.
Around 3 p.m. on the night that Faith was killed, that surveillance camera picked up a light-colored pickup with 4 doors that appeared to have working rear and side lights. Based on the surveillance video, the trailer was equipped with a rear folding ramp and gate.
But it was 3 p.m.
8:30 p.m. on the night that she was killed.
Yes. Did you say on the tape it was 3 p.m.?
No, I didn't say anything about 3 p.m.
Oh.
Do you want me to read this over again?
Yes, please.
Around 8:30 p.m. on the night that Faith was killed, that surveillance camera picked up a light-colored truck.
Oh, I did not hear the 8 and the 4. I heard 3 p.m. And so I was like, another discrepancy.
No. So 8:30 p.m., the surveillance camera is picking up this light-colored truck driving by,
Got it.
which
Matches the description.
they believe that the car matching the description that Ryan gave
Mm-hmm.
is now a car of interest and could have been driving down the road at the same time that Faith was walking.
Mm-hmm.
But there is no way to know if this car came from the same road Faith was on because right before where this camera is, there's crossroads.
Oh,
So, yeah, it could have been driving straight, but it
Yeah.
also could have come from 2 other directions.
right.
The truck of the video was released on OSBI's website, and a few news stations also ran the video of the truck, all urging anyone with information to come forward. Between the day of the incident and March 30th, 2021, OSBI released a public appeal asking for any drivers who are on Highway 56 between 8 and 8:30 p.m. to come forward, especially if someone had seen a light-colored truck with a trailer.
Is this like the kind of highway that you see like when we're driving to Ocean City?
That's kind of how I picture it.
Okay.
Like, kind of like the more...
It's not like 95 highway.
I don't think so.
Okay.
Because if it's like there's a Dollar Tree, like a Dollar General
Right.
on
Like,
the side
and
of the
that's
road.
kind of what I was thinking. Like when we drive to Ocean City, those highways have,
Yeah, they're like smaller highways.
yeah.
Like for people who have never driven to Ocean City, it's like kind of like coastal town highways
Yes.
where there's cornfields.
It's technically a highway, but
it's a highway, but
there's
it's like
stuff
a
off the side of
smaller
it.
highway. That's
Yeah.
what I'm thinking.
okay.
Tips did start to come into OSBI, but if the information didn't fall in line with their hit and run theory, they would dismiss it and not take it seriously.
You shouldn't do that.
Right. So 3 days after the incident, on March 31st, 2021, the case became a homicide investigation rather than just a hit and run.
Wait, okay. I'm sorry. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. I thought they just said that they weren't accepting any information that wasn't,
I think what they're trying to say is it was a homicide hit and run.
but it still needs to be hit and run related.
Yes.
Okie dokie.
Yep.
Okay.
The family agreed with the OHP, who believes it wasn't a hit and run.
Mhm.
They believe she was killed by someone and dumped at the location where she was found. Her mother firmly believes that someone is responsible for Faith's death. She also doesn't believe that a vehicle was even involved at all. Quote, "There's such a lack of evidence that a vehicle was involved at all," she said.
I feel like you gotta have very distinct injuries if you get hit by a car.
Oh, we will get to that.
Okay. What if boyfriend kills the girlfriend, lays her down in the road, and that's why he hears the speed bump because her body's dead, but someone did drive over it, but
Oh,
it's already dead.
I don't think so,
Okay.
but I will go over why.
We'll just put a pin in it.
Yeah, that's an interesting theory. OHP said that no witnesses who were on the road at the time of the incident remember seeing a truck or trailer, that they do remember seeing a girl walking.
Mm.
The witnesses were never given a physical description of Faith and were never even shown a picture of Faith to try and identify if she was, in fact, the person they saw walking.
What the fuck?
Side note, though, these witnesses weren't even interviewed for over 2 months after Faith's death.
Well, that's not helpful.
Another person came forward later and said that they didn't notice a body on the road and they also didn't notice any other vehicles around at that time.
So they didn't see her. This person is saying.
Correct.
Got it.
Correct. Nothing at the scene of where Faith was found indicated to the family that it had been a hit and run. There was no damage, there was a lack of glass or paint fragments,
Just about to ask that.
and there were no skid marks.
Okay. Yes, I was just about to ask that.
So let's go over some of these gaps and red flags, and
Okay.
there are quite a few. So we'll start with the OSBI. So from the very beginning, many believed that the OSBI didn't take the case seriously, especially within those important first 6 months.
Mhm.
First off, they immediately went with the theory that it had been a hit and run, even though OHP mentioned that they didn't believe a vehicle was involved at all.
And they're the highway patrol.
Right.
If anyone's going to know about a hit and run, it's going to be people that see cars all the time.
Right. The OSBI was very quick to conclude the case as a hit and run, even though there had been many other avenues that they could have and should have looked into,
Mhm.
which I will again get into. Amanda felt that the proper evidence wasn't collected at the scene when it should have been, and she has her reasons why. So Faith was known to have a drug problem and did have a criminal history. Amanda believes that due to Faith's background, drug addiction, and past convictions, that the OSBI didn't put any importance on her case and therefore didn't investigate it as they should.
Mm-hmm.
The OSBI also interviewed the family, as they should have,
Mhm.
but with that interview, they also found out that the family had limited resources, so wouldn't be able to push back and do things on their own.
The amount of times that, okay, let me back up. There's this thing called Young Scholars. I don't know if it's a national thing or just a state thing,
Mm-hmm.
but Young Scholars is essentially teachers put these students forward thinking they have these little things that they're doing that show that they might be gifted, but they don't come from a family that would advocate for that. So it comes more so from the teacher.
Right.
And hearing that, that association of somebody else has to be the person to ask for you to whatever.
To be your advocate.
Right, to be your advocate solely because your family doesn't have
Mm-hmm.
the same resources as everybody else.
Right.
Even though they should.
Right.
Anyway, sorry. Mini soapbox. Continue.
Especially if it's people who are meant to protect the public.
That too, specifically.
Right. So Amanda mentioned that there had been another family of a Marine. The Marine had been killed in, I believe, a car crash.
Mhm.
OSBI gave that family $10,000 to put up as a reward for information, but for Faith, they didn't do anything.
Oh.
Yeah.
Do we have a race?
I think she's white.
Oh.
I believe. Yeah, no, she is. I don't know why I said I think she is. Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Amanda felt they didn't want to investigate anymore, which is why they labeled it as a hit and run and quickly passed it off to other agencies.
Yeah. I didn't know if race was going to play a factor or not, but it seems just
I feel like
poverty,
it's more social economic
social economics, and
background. Mm-hmm. The
which
family
is
has
unfortunate.
The family has no other agencies who are willing to help them.
Mm.
All they are being told is to hire an attorney or get a private investigator. So Amanda has
Which-
been learning how to conduct investigations on her own.
Wow.
Right. Like, how can you get an attorney or a private investigator if you don't have the money to get an attorney or a private investigator?
Right.
And you're relying on agencies that are supposed to help the public, but they're not.
Right.
So what are you supposed to do?
Right. There's not much,
Right.
which I think is the point.
Which is why she's gone to podcasts and is like, can you help?
Yeah, absolutely.
Next, we have Ryan and his mother. So Faith and Ryan had a troubled and abusive past, and because of this, Amanda and the family had never liked Ryan. So it
I figured that was the case.
Yep. So it certainly came as a surprise that Faith was one, back together with Ryan, and two, living with them, Ryan and his mother. It was also suspicious how the mother and Ryan were the first to arrive on the scene,
Mm.
even more so after how Ryan heard what he described as a vehicle going over a speed bump from half a mile away.
Mhm.
You can't hear that.
No, you can't.
I work at a building that we have to pass over speed bumps, and the person behind me, I don't hear them go over the speed bump.
Even when I'm outside, I don't hear a car going over a speed
Right.
bump.
I have a speed bump outside of my house. How many times have you heard a car go over it? None.
Never.
Exactly. So this part is also suspicious. A lot of it is suspicious. So after the scuffle between Faith and the mom, Faith walked off and Ryan tried to go after her.
Mm-hmm.
Her mother told him to let Faith cool down. The mother, then went inside and took a shower.
Okay.
Apparently, there was some sort of small gathering happening at the house as well at this time. While she was in the shower, she is told by someone that she had to quickly get out. So somehow she was able to get out of the shower, dry off, get dressed, get in her truck, and drive half a mile away, then be the first to arrive behind her son before anyone else did on a highway.
So there's now more people at the house than just the three of them.
Right. Supposedly. So then still hearing a speed bump when there's like a party going on.
Right. And if there's people over, what are you doing?
Right. So this whole story is just suspicious. And being the boyfriend, he should have been looked into as a suspect number one, but he wasn't.
Yeah, that's weird.
I know.
I know.
Then we have the fact that there has been no physical evidence of a vehicle impact or a hit and run in general, and this is a big part of the whole case. So there had been nothing at the crime scene. No
Right.
glass, no paint fragments, no vehicle parts, no skid marks, absolutely nothing at the scene that would be consistent with a pedestrian being hit by a fast-moving vehicle moving at highway speeds.
Mm-hmm.
Quote, there was nothing there, nothing to show that she was hit by a truck. It doesn't make sense, said
And
Faith's
wouldn't
mother.
she have a lot of broken bones?
And face injuries were not consistent with being hit by a truck or trailer at highway speeds, despite what the medical examiner said the autopsy showed.
Like when I hear multiple blunt force trauma, I hear someone getting hit over and over again.
Yes.
I feel like now I've never been hit by a car, knock on wood, but I feel like with the TV shows, which I know are so accurate, when you get hit like that, you're gonna have broken bones.
Yes.
So she should have broken bones.
I'll go over them.
Okay.
So there are implications that her injuries were more consistent with blunt force trauma or physical assault rather than vehicular trauma.
Mm-hmm.
So to start, there was no damage to Faith's internal organs, which
Right.
there should have been.
Yes.
And her external injuries included multiple blunt force trauma, a gash on the side of her head, broken ribs, a ruptured spleen, and a collapsed lung.
So it sounds like she was punched and kicked.
Mm-hmm. She also had dark bruises all over her body, but bruises that looked to be a few days old at least. But there was no road rash at all.
Yeah.
There had been injuries below her chin and above her breast that at first had resembled road rash, but were confirmed to not be.
And this might sound a little morbid. Wouldn't there also be possible human evidence of someone getting hit by a car, especially going that fast?
Like on the road?
Yeah.
And there was none.
Right.
Right.
So not just like the car stuff, but
Right.
getting hit by a car and then landing.
Right.
It's going to leave some stuff.
Yes.
Okay. And then none of that was there.
No.
Okay.
It was determined that a slight indent on her ribs was her cause of death.
What?
Yeah. I don't
understand. Not the collapsed lung?
No.
What?
But truly, had she been hit by a car at 70 miles per hour and thrown, she should have way more external injuries and even considerable internal ones as well.
Yeah, and she would have been tossed.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. I didn't even think, I mean, I know she would go up, but she would also go,
Yes.
she would be, yes.
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 There was also nothing on her clothing to indicate that she had been hit. Again, no plastic, no glass in the fabric, no gravel.
Right.
The clothes had been sent for friction analysis, where they test to see if the fabric is consistent with fabric that was dragged or pushed on a road.
Sure.
Nothing.
Nothing.
It was confirmed that there was no friction marks on her clothing. Some dirt had been found as well as blue lint. But where the blue lint came from is still a mystery as well. It could have been from the blanket that had been used to cover her. But back to the investigator screwing up the investigation, no samples were taken from the blanket, so for now these are just unknown fibers.
So it sounds like some people investigated.
Right.
Like I'm thinking they obviously found and collected all this evidence.
The evidence being what was on her.
Right. That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. Like this is
in a way because, like, they found the blue fabric or the blue fibers, but they don't know where they came from.
right, so, it sounds like part of it is being investigated, but then when it
Yeah,
gets passed the baton gets passed,
right,
they don't finish up the race.
right. And the condition of her feet was also suspicious.
Uh,
So if you recall, she left the house barefoot,
yeah,
but her feet were pristine other than the fact that they were slightly dirty. No cuts, scrapes, gashes, nothing on her feet.
yeah.
Her hands and feet had also been bagged to run DNA evidence to see if potentially she had DNA under her fingerprints,
Right.
but the medical examiner failed to do these tests.
Okie dokie.
The injuries that Faith sustained were more localized and were more indicative of a combat between two people, not a car, which has led Faith's family to believe that she had been beaten to death. Her knuckles were even scraped as they would have been in a fight.
It's just so bizarre to me, and I get that there are clear discrepancies in Faith as a person versus, I'm sure, the Marine, but it's so glaringly obvious that people aren't doing their job.
Right. And that's a big thing that Amanda is saying. She's like, it's so clear
Right,
that OSBI is not doing what they need to be doing.
right,
Hmm.
and, like, so why doesn't that ring a alarm to people? Mm,
Because they're trying to close it. So there are really only two situations that could be true. She was walking and was struck with the driver leaving the scene, or someone beat her to death and left her where she was found.
how many freaking homicides are happening in goddamn Oklahoma,
Right. And with the evidence, it seems to be leaning one way more than the other.
especially in a small town?
Exactly. So to end this, Amanda Faith's mother.
And
I know. Faith's mother has been vocal that she knows something is wrong and that the original hit and run story suggested isn't right. Her family has constantly called this a homicide and wants it to be investigated accordingly.
it sounds like they did too at one point,
Who
the other people.
wanted to be Oh, the
Homicide?
OHP. Yeah.
Yeah.
Her mother said, quote, her killer is out there. Her killer is still walking around breathing free air with the rest of us having done something like this. But whatever situation it is, hit and run or murder, it should still be investigated regardless.
100%.
Back in 2021, there was a GoFundMe that was set up to pay Faith's final bills. If you would like to donate to help raise reward money, you can find more information on the Justice for Faith Facebook page or the GoFundMe page. And as always, links for everything will be included in our show notes.
Yes.
Faith's mother has been doing all they can to keep Faith's story alive. They have made shirts, countless flyers, have written to legislators, and have been on some podcasts. They continue to raise money in hopes that a cash reward will encourage someone with information to come forward. The family is urging that anyone with information about this case to please come forward. Quote, we just got to keep pushing. You know, we can't just let them forget, said Langston. Amanda Langston is her mother.
Yes.
Amanda also wants to raise awareness for the dangers of walking alone without an ID and without a cell phone.
Mhm.
So please call 800-522-8017 or email tips@osbi.ok.gov if you have information that will help OSBI agents with the investigation. You can remain anonymous. You can also report any tips to the Oklahoma Highway Patrol. Again, I will provide the number. But if you don't want to talk to law enforcement, you can contact Amanda Langston directly. She can be found on the Facebook page Justice for Faith or at #IMatter. She's an admin on both of these sites and welcomes any direct messages with any tips you may have. They encourage you to please think of Faith's family and her kids who are too young to understand why their mom hasn't come home.
Yeah.
Absolutely any information can potentially be helpful, even if you don't think it has any significance, it might. So that is the case of Faithe Ely.
Wow. Do we know if boyfriend is dad to any of the kids?
That's a good question. I don't know. I don't know for sure. Mom also doesn't want to blame anyone in particular.
Sure.
So she just wants the information to be put out there and believes that certain suspects should be looked into.
Not only that, a glaring obvious of stories don't add up here,
Right.
but just investigation alone,
Yeah. Really dropped the ball. And
just like the
especially,
physical evidence.
right. That's the big thing. Like, none of that evidence matches with a vehicle.
Mhm.
In the Oklahoma Highway Patrol, the people who deal with cars, who have dealt with cases like this, are even saying, something with this is hinky.
Yeah.
Their words, hinky.
Yeah.
Something is not right. This is not a vehicle crash. Like, this is not a vehicular incident.
And I also don't understand the purpose of calling her mom.
Who, the Amanda calling the mom?
No, the other lady
Or,
calling Amanda.
yes, the lady calling Amanda. She wanted to let her know that Faith was dead.
But, like, if yeah, I
Which,
guess.
and
No,
I guess
I
because
kinda
Faith
get it 'cause they
technically
did
doesn't
live
have
together.
ID
Yeah.
and they were the ones who called,
If that lady lives with her and called and said Faith's dead, why couldn't that also be an identification?
I don't know. See, good questions. And there are a lot of other things that have gone on with this case, like polygraphs and some other things, but Amanda didn't elaborate on any of those,
Mhm.
and none of those have been anywhere. And
Right.
there's also information that they know the investigation has done but hasn't passed on to them.
Mhm.
So there are some gaps in all of this
Yeah.
just because we're
But even
everyday people.
right, and even I when I hear about things like this happening where people are bringing awareness to cases that involve their family members and are pointing things out that to any lay person would
Mhm.
be like, "That doesn't sound right."
Right.
You would think that and maybe they don't think that their reputation is on the line, whatever it may be, but you would think that at the very least, if it wasn't true, if you just weren't sharing that information.
Who, like the authorities and stuff?
Right, like, we know that people like, authorities will keep it out of the news and, in order for the trial.
Right.
Totally understand that. But there's gotta be a way to acknowledge that this is happening
Yes.
without them having to compromise the investigation.
Right.
To just let people think that nothing is going on is not only detrimental to their reputation, but it's just gonna continue putting forward people not trusting police.
Right.
It's these little tiny things. Even if there are holes, even if there is some information that we're missing from this, what we do have is already enough in my mind
Yeah.
to go back and look,
Absolutely.
let alone with whatever else we're missing.
Right. But yeah. So I mean, both our cases were unsolved because we had people reaching out to us to help spread the word.
Right. Technically,
So
mine is unresolved.
there
Tech
you go.
technically,
Unresolved.
it's solved, but it's not solved correctly.
Yeah, this one's technically a hit and run,
Right.
but very clearly not.
And it's odd when, you hear all the time not to get tunnel vision,
Yes.
and yet they're just
Exactly what OSBI is doing.
and maybe you're right, maybe it's just to get it off their desks, be done with it,
Mhm.
wipe their hands of it,
Right.
and move on.
But yeah.
Wow. Well, hopefully this can reach wider audiences to continue to bring awareness for both of these stories.
Mhm.
If you have any information, we have their information.
Right.
So, and if you look in the episode description on wherever you get your podcast, it'll be listed there.
Yep, all the numbers, all the email addresses,
Yeah,
all the contact info.
exactly. And, if you have a story similar to this where you feel like justice was not done,
Mhm.
reach out to us. We're happy to share your story.
Yeah. We've
We're
done it a couple times and
right. We're small but mighty.
yeah. And I mean, it is a big honor for people to be like, "Can you cover my family member's case?"
Right. Like yeah,
Yeah.
I agree.
Our email is ascarystatepodcast@gmail.com. You can send it there. You can send it to our Facebook at A Scary State Podcast. That's pretty much where we're everywhere. A Scary
Yeah.
State Pod or A Scary State Podcast.
Instagram too. We
Yeah.
check those messages.
Yep, we do.
So
Mackenzie does.
yeah, you check Facebook.
Yeah.
We tag team. So, or like we've also had it where people have reached out where it's not necessarily a case that is a family member, but it's something in their town.
Yes, like West Virginia.
Yes.
Mhm.
And so it could be that something local is going on and you think it needs more attention, or it's just for whatever reason this one's pulled at your heartstrings a little bit more.
Yeah.
That also is fine to share with us too, and we can definitely
Yeah.
share those stories.
So yeah.
So yeah.
So I hope everyone's having a good October, good spooky season.
Yeah, next episode will be the last spooky special right before Halloween.
Yeah.
So yeah,
So stay scary.
and stay safe.